Broadcasting on stations nationwide for over 8 years, you're listening to The Gold Show. With us today is Jonathan Rose, registered financial consultant and CEO of Capital Gold Group. Jonathan is a recognized keynote speaker and commentator for worldwide gold markets, including the United States, Hong Kong, Singapore, China, India, and Europe. Capital Gold Group representatives are not financial advisors, and past performance in gold is not indicative of future performance. And always, it's good to talk with you.
And it's a pleasure to be here. In fact, a warm welcome to all the listeners tuning in on today's edition of The Gold Show, where we bring you groundbreaking news on the precious metals market. In fact, one of the top headlines on the news broadcast right now is that HSBC buys $876 million worth of silver. This is one of the very few topics and more that we're going to be discussing on today's edition of The Gold Show.
But Jonathan, before we get started, is it possible to get select listeners a copy of the gold and precious metals report that you have?
Absolutely. While supplies last, folks, it's your chance to get our Insider's Guide to Owning Precious Metals, which will show you and teach you how to purchase gold and silver at the lowest possible prices. In fact, which coins and bars will give you a better return in the future. And if you have an IRA or 401k, learn how that when you roll it over with Capital Gold Group, you can receive a $500 cashback. And for the first 20 callers that act right now, they will also receive James Rickards' national best-selling book, Currency Wars, a very powerful read that I highly recommend. And all this information and more can be yours, available right now when you call 800-510-9594. We're going to give out that number during today's broadcast, but remember, while supplies last, you'll get the Insider's Gold Guide, learn how you can receive a $500 cashback when you roll over your IRA or 401k with Capital Gold Group, and the first 20 callers lucky are going to receive the national bestseller by James Rickards, Currency Wars. Again, folks, that number 800-510-9594. Again, that's 800-510-9594. And don't forget to visit Capital Gold Group's award-winning website at startwithgold.com.
All right, Jonathan, a lot to talk about on the show. Looking at some of the news stories this week, it looks like they're going to kick the can down the road a little bit more here, extending or raising the debt ceiling. That means we'll continue to spend 40 cents more than we take in to pay our debt. A tough situation there, but they kind of are caught in a situation where they kind of have to do it, don't they?
Yeah, we really have to do it right now, but even though that we're spending 40 cents more than we're taking in per dollar, that's a scary fact right there, because you can't let your upkeep be your downfall. I remember being in business school, that was one of the first things they actually taught you, and it just kind of seems that we're kind of breaking those principles right now. And with all this economic instability, I'm surprised that gold prices and silver prices are in fact not even higher than where they are today. I think there's a lot of bargain buying opportunity, and it makes complete sense to me when I read stories like HSBC buying $876 million worth of silver. That's a big purchase in the market. And in fact, silver has now rallied for the past 7 days. And this has really helped silver prices rally over 6% so far this year and 4.5% last week alone. So the close is above $32 an ounce as of yesterday, with a very bullish technicality, and could see silver really testing the next level of resistance, which is about $34 an ounce. And what's also very interesting is that the US Mint has actually sold out of 2013 American Eagle coins and will actually resume sales in the next few weeks when their inventory should be replenished.
These are interesting stories. You mentioned about silver real quickly. There's some real opportunities with silver, isn't there, to really leverage the rise up without having to make as much of an investment?
There really is. What people love about silver is that it's affordable, and I think that has a certain amount of appeal and attraction to it. I love gold. I've always been an advocate. You put a gold coin in anybody's hand and their eyebrows raise up, their forehead crinkles, and they're like, wow, gold. You can see that's worth something. And kind of silver has always kind of taken a back seat to its big brother. But silver outperformed gold last year. I think it has huge potential to be one of the strongest strongest gainers again for 2013. And in fact, besides, the forecasts for gold from brokers and traders worldwide who believe, silver should be trading anywhere from $45 to $65 an ounce in the next few years, you can read some of these headlines out there that support these hypotheses. One of them is that there's rumors that Apple is experiencing delays in producing the new iMac, one of their computers, due to difficulty in sourcing industrial silver in volume in China. And more silver than is typically used is utilized in the new Apple iMac. So, in the past where I've talked about silver, or even on the website startwithgold.com, we have a page all about silver and its industrial uses. And as industrial uses for silver continues to climb and the supply continues to dwindle, well, now we've got the supply and demand effect, which is going to continue to, catapult the prices of silver forward. And, just do the homework for yourself on that one, folks. Limited supply, huge demand. The prices will go up, making silver a great buy right now.
If you'd like to get started and you're hearing about silver and the opportunities there, or gold, as you mentioned, getting that gold coin in your hand, you can do it by going to the phone. There are actual gold and silver precious metal specialists standing by to help, aren't there?
There really are. If you want to find out right now how to purchase gold or silver at the lowest possible prices, call Capital Gold Group at 800-510-9594. Again, that's 800-510-9594. When you call in, you're going to speak to a friendly gold and silver specialist. They're going to send you out while supplies last, folks, the Gold and Silver Insider's Guide to Owning Precious Metals, which will show you and help educate you, how to buy physical gold and silver, coins and bars at the lowest possible prices, and which coins and bars will be forecasted for the strongest return in the future. Learn how you can receive a $500 cashback when you roll over an IRA, which involves putting precious metals, tangible assets, backing up your retirement dollars. And the first 20 callers will also receive James Rickard's national best-selling book, Currency Wars. It's on one of my top 5 books right now that I've really enjoyed reading. A powerful read I think everybody should read. Again, folks, that number is 800-510-9594. That's 800-510-9594. And don't forget to look at us up online at startwithgold.com.
And you're listening to The Gold Show. And Jonathan, everyone needs to listen up here because you have an article you want to share with us that really has some important information. It's titled, "Do You Want to Scare a Baby Boomer?" Tell us about this one.
Well, there are an incredible 35 shocking statistics that will, baby boomer or not, just kind of scare the heebie-jeebies, so to speak, out of you, because there's some interesting points that people are making, and when you hear them, they just kind of blow over, and you keep moving forward with your day-to-day life. But people should really be aware. I mean, I'm just going to read out a couple because there's really so many. But right now there are somewhere around 40 million senior citizens in the United States, and by 2050 that number is projected to skyrocket to 89 million. And now, according to a recent poll, 25% of all Americans in the 46 to 64-year-old age bracket have no retirement savings at all, which is very scary. And in fact, 67% of all Americans workers believe that they are little or a lot behind the schedule on saving for retirement. And 1 out of every 6 elderly Americans lives below the federal poverty line. So, there's many scary facts that as people kind of continue to go older, and obviously it's a natural progression in life that we plan for the future, and whether that be for retirement, taking vacations abroad, making sure your nest egg is intact so you can, live out the rest of your life and have a wonderful time, enjoy time with the family, the grandkids, etc. A lot of these people, what's happening is that their retirement money is running out. They're finding that they've got to either go back to work, or they're even making bold statements saying that I'll have to work until the day that I drop, which is very, very scary. So, between 1991 and 2007, the number of Americans ages between 65 and 74 that filed for bankruptcy rose by a staggering 178%. And the kicker here is that the number one cause for the elderly to file for bankruptcy bankruptcy is medical bills. And out of that 60% of those that filed medical bills, over 3/4 of that were individuals that already had health insurance. So, there's so many problems right now, whether it's planning for the future, Social Security, Medicare, you really have to be a good steward with your money. And I guess the point that we're making, especially when we educate our listeners on the Gold Show, is that, when you invest in assets like gold and silver, they're considered long-term wealth and preservation, because the more uncertainty there is in the world, whether it's the trade deficit continuing to triple, Social Security, retirement programs running out of money, the more upheaval there is in the marketplace, the less voter confidence we have in the government and our fiscal policies in repairing this damage. And when that happens, that loss of faith happens, that's why gold and silver prices rise. And that's why, for the next decade, it's imperative to, get an education and an understanding and learn about the importance of investing in precious metals, particularly gold and silver, that you as an investor get to hold on to. That's where the security lies.
And to get started, after hearing that article and all those facts about how unprepared Americans are, we have the now, we have the present to do something about it. So get yourself some education on building long-term wealth and learn about gold and precious metals. See how it fits in to your portfolio. You can go to the phone. You get a packet sent to you with information kind of explaining the history of gold and precious metals. And you have also a special incentive, a book for select listeners if they call right now, right?
Absolutely. That number, first of all, folks, get dialing, is 800-510-9594. The first 20 callers will receive James Rickard's national best-selling book, Currency Wars. While supplies last, get your copy of the Insider's Gold Guide. There's a wealth of information in there. And learn how you can receive a $500 cashback when you roll over your IRA with Capital Gold Group. So again, folks, that number is 800-510-9594. That's 800-510-9594.